friends, it's Sarah here again with our block number 21 of Moda Blockheads 6. Super excited, we're getting close to the end, and I love this block today that I'm going to be sharing. It's a bow tie 4-patch fun extravaganza for us to use. And our friend Vanessa Goertzen of Lella Boutique was our fabulous designer of this block. Looks more complicated than what it is, but it's not. It's half square triangles and 4 patches, so let's get started. All right, friends, let's start with our ingredients that we're going to be using for this block. We're going to be making 4 patches, as I said before, so we need 16 of the 2 different types of 4 patches that we're going to be using. We need 4 different colors or the coloration that I'm using 4 different colors for my bow tie and then our background. So this is all that we need to do this. Let's get started and make our 4 patch blocks. Join me back here and we'll get started. All right, friends, I've gathered all my pieces for the 4 patches that we're going to be making. I kind of went out of order on how the pattern is written. It doesn't really matter what order you put them together. I like to do 4 patches first, so that's what we're going to start out with. So I've got 2 of the blocks laid out here. You just lay them out alternating within the block, and then you're going to sew the 2 rows together, and then you're going to nest them together. We're going to make a total of 8 of these blocks. So I'm going to go to the sewing machine and I'll meet you back here when I get done. All right, I'm back. I have made all of my little 4 patch blocks, all 8 of them, I believe is how many we make. Yes, we make 8 4 patch blocks, and I did do the same pressing. My 2 fabrics are very similar in value, so I just chose which I thought was the darker one, which was the little bit of a pink one. I pressed those to that, nested the seams, and then I did the final press of my seam open. One thing I also wanted to mention, these are cut at 1 5/8 inch. Okay, now that I've got these all done, let's move on to our half square triangles. So for our half square triangles, we're going to be using our 3 1/4 inch squares. And my block had 4 different colors. Now, if you want to make yours all the same color for the bow ties, that is fantastic. But I chose 4 different colors. So I've got my 4 colors and I've got my background fabric. So on the back of my background fabrics, it's very hard to see because I did use a pink. If you haven't been able to tell, pink is probably my favorite color. But I've used a pink marking pencil here, and I've drawn a diagonal line on the back of my background squares, and I'm going to layer that background square right sides together with my colored squares. And now I'm going to go to the machine and I'm going to sew a scant 1/4 inch on either side of that line, cut it apart, and then press it to the dark fabric. I'm going to go do that and I'll meet you back here. All right, I've got all of my half square triangles made. Remember, we do have to trim these half square triangles up. We're going to trim them to 2 3/4 inches so that then they finish 2 1/4 inches when we get done. You can use whatever method you love. We do have a video linked in the description so that you can see exactly how to square up half square triangles. Let's go square those up and I'll meet you back here to get our final unit made and our final block made. I'm back. And I'm going to lay out one of the units that I am making for this block. So we want it to have the bow tie unit. So I put my 2 darker colors in towards each other. And then I've got my 2 4 patches that I'm making. You're going to be making 4 of these units. And the key with this is you want to make sure that you have your 4 patch units all going the same direction in each one of the units. It doesn't matter which way that your 4 patches go, but you just want to make them all match so that your block is uniform. So I've got it laid out here in a little 4 patch layout. I'm going to go and sew the top row and the bottom row. I'm going to press opposing seams, and then I'm going to sew that final seam together to make my unit, and I'll meet you back here with our final block. All right, friends, I am back. I've sewn my 4 units together, and voila, I have got my block all put together. Again, I made each of my units pressing them either to the opposing seams and putting them together. And I did that same procedure when I sewed the actual block together, because as you can see, it is a 4-patch block. So this is the finished block in my Ruby Star Basics that I have been doing. But as some of you may know, I have been making a secondary coloring of this whole quilt. Let me pull that block out for you and show you what a huge difference that this block looks like using solids. I am using, in my second coloration that you'll see at the very end once I get everything all done, but look at the difference in how that block looks. It's very strikingly different just because the colors pop against my lighter background, and it's just super fun. You can see more of the chain going through on this block, and what a fun quilt this would be to make. And you could set these different, I've already got many ideas in my head about how I can use this block and make it into something else super fun. That's all I've got for today. Hope you enjoyed making block number 21 from Vanessa of Lella Boutique, and we'll see you back here next week with another installment of Moda Blockheads 6. Happy sewing, everyone!